You're listening to the Miles Ahead podcast with Dr. Miles Graham Salisbury, where he shares tactics, techniques, and protocols to improve your physical, spiritual, and mental fitness in order to become self-led, grounded, and integrated.
Welcome back. Oh, thanks for having me again, Miles. It's good to see you.
You're like my most repeated guest besides, like you're catching up to Josh now.
It's always great, though. It's always great.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's good. We got some good things to talk about. You've been digesting some stuff for your practice, which is cool.
Yeah.
Today's episode will be on a code to live by. I think everyone should have, it's sort of like your values, living out your values. And if you have a personal code, I think it's good. Like Traver has his, I don't know how many he has, his ethos tenets.
And
They're very good.
12.
He has 12. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're solid. His book, Man and Civilized, they're really good if people want to check that out. So you've been digesting some of your own, and you said they're sort of still work in progress, but some of them are solidified. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So lately, digesting a lot of what my own human experience has been, as well as the things and influences I've taken. I mean, a lot of these things that we see today in ethos or tenets or principles, it's a lot of digested material from over the ages. And what we believe is to be true, and a lot of things that I see and resonate, both myself and other men that I've been around, worked with, and decade plus that I've been exposed to all of this in the works, and especially in the last few years. It's, what have we been seeing? And also, when we create these things, what have we been seeing today that we need? So while we might have influences from the past and things, but what are we seeing today that we need? And my beliefs too, of where I want to put out some certain tenets for the Grounded Warrior project that I have going for my coaching business, and a foundation for that is really just some things that we just hope open our minds. What we have seen and heard, but also to help push us a little bit beyond where we are currently. And a lot of days today, what we see with modern men in society and things is, it's all this jargon, all this stuff that's out there.
We're inundated.
It's very, no pun intended, but yes, ungrounding.
Well said. Yeah. Groundless. Yeah.
We see directionless. We don't see much presence. We don't see contact. I know that's a word that we've used a lot in the past and the things that we've talked about.
Want to explain that real quick for people that don't know what that means?
Yeah. So contact is in a way of presence, where we are with this person, how we're connecting. So like right now, Miles, you and I are in a certain level of contact. Yes, it's virtual, but right now we're connecting together, working this together, whatever we're talking about, whatever solution we're trying to come to, and we're experiencing almost a singular mind. We're trying to form one as we continue and progress in our conversation. In a way, that's contact, but also the emotions we share, the things that we kind of reach and touch each other's boundaries just here. And this is the things that we've learned from Dewey and other influences out there. Is just making this nice touch right at the boundary of ourselves.
I love it. And a lot of men, this is kind of a struggle because it's contact light, like it's contact around sports or something topical.
Up here.
It's in the head. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Logical scores. And yeah, it's fun. There, in a way, there is a little bit of a contact to it though too, because you're sharing a fun experience.
Yeah. But
there's not much of a full, let me give you everything, what's just under that container. We put in men, and this is actually something that's been coming up a lot lately with my coaching. It's containerization. Healthy versus unhealthy containerization.
Say more about containerization. What do you mean?
Sure. Yeah. So one way, like, hey, let's talk about sports, Miles. How's the Arsenal doing?
Dude, for first fucking place in the Champions League and the Premier League.
I knew that would trigger you. But did I just say that to avoid something from
Mm.
you saying, hey, talk to me about more depth of containers? Or was I using that to connect? Because I wanted to see your reaction.
Yeah, it could be a good entry point.
Yeah.
Or you
So
could use it to avoid, like you said.
that's kind of the weird dichotomy between the two, is that there's a container to say, hey, I'm just going to stay up here in my head when I make contact with you, but I'm not going to express much motion. I'm not going to tell you how I really am below here. And it's not done all the time on purpose.
Sure.
A lot of times it's unconscious. Like we just cut ourselves off right here. Nothing goes. More heartfelt, gut felt, face-led conversations or connections.
Why do you think we do that?
Go ahead.
Why do you think we do that, Isman?
We fear a lot of what we have below here. And it's not per se what we feel is in the body, but also maybe what thoughts are there in the unconscious, some things that we're hiding of being exposed. What do we have just under the surface? Are we actually feeling sad, anger? Or are we scared of happiness and joy and connection? Because we've been burned so much in our life.
So it's protection, maybe.
Exactly. The container. So
containing ourselves from being the V word, vulnerable.
Yeah.
Okay.
The healthy kind.
Right. Yeah.
But once again, there's a lot of this stuff is too.
Yeah. You can overshare and you can yeah, exactly.
And that's a whole different kind of unhealthy container.
Yeah. No container.
Yeah, no container. But for instance, a lot of things that come up with the container is like, okay, well, maybe I know with this group of friends or this place that I'm going to go out to, we're just going to talk about sports. And that does create a container within us. And we're not going to really go much more. But what if I really wanted to allow myself to open up to you more? Say, Miles, what actually has been happening? How are you actually? That kind of breaks to say, well, how are you? Good is the response.
God, I know. I hate small talk. I hate, how's your weekend? How was Christmas? I was like, good God. I'm like a depth guy. Like you ask me, I'll go there. I'm not going to give you a surface level answer. I just hate it.
But also, the how are you question, I think we also overthink it. Especially you say, well, I want somebody to connect with me. Well, you also might need to provide them a little bit more. Say, no, actually, respond like that. I am this. And it might take them back because, they're expecting the good answer.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's not to say that it's always done in ill intent to say, oh, how are you? A lot of people do actually want to know. And if you were to say, well, actually, I'm feeling kind of sad right now. Or I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed.
And just to say that.
Yeah.
It's also
something better than good.
It is. Yeah. It kind of takes you aback too. Cause like you have to self-reflect for a second. Well, what is going on below my chin?
Yeah. I mean, sidetracked, but it's the allowing versus allowing. So allowing through question to say, Miles, how are you actually? Versus allowing through response, saying, well, actually, instead of they just ask you, how are you? Well, actually, just adding the word actually can break a container or create a new one in a different level.
Yeah, expand it out a little bit.
Yeah. Or creating that contact.
The contact can happen. Yeah.
But sometimes that contact, if you're saying, well, actually, and they're not ready, you're just grabbing them and taking them on.
How much time you got?
So, we digress, but that's definitely a spot where making that contact, that conversation that we see out there is something that is fundamental. And that's actually one of the first tenets that I've been putting together, more as a reminder. And that first tenet really talks around bringing presence with contact. So I made it a phrase. Technically, you could just say contact, but once again, you have to explain it.
What does that mean?
How best do we need to bring it is like one of these tenets, bringing presence with contact. So you're bringing your sense of self and that whole level where you want to allow some of this vulnerability to say, well, actually, that's bringing a present.
And this is number one.
This is
As it
most
stands.
likely number one. There's a little subject to change, but for me, this is pretty solidified as number one.
Presence with contact.
Presence with contact. So showing up where you actually are and maybe allowing a little bit of that vulnerability. Say, well, actually, I'm feeling this.
Yeah, it fucking feels good when you can just get a little bit out off your chest anyways, right?
Yeah.
That's somebody who gives a fuck. You know, when it's the dipshit at the office, it's just like, how was your weekend? Like, he doesn't want to hear, or she doesn't want to hear about your fucking weekend. They just want, it was fine. How was yours? And then they just want to go on. I fucking hate that. But it feels really good when you know it's someone you trust and that has earned. I think they have to earn it back to like not oversharing. That person's got to earn that inner part of you a little bit.
Yeah.
And it feels good when you can actually just say, oh yeah, I've been struggling, or I'm great, or I've been working on this or whatever. It feels good. It like takes the weight off a little bit, sometimes a lot bit.
And I also challenge people to just take it one slight notch of that open.
There you go.
Just one notch. You don't have to go like, oh, this is my whole life. No. Actually, I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't have to add anything more. If they ask why or more, then yeah, you are making even more contact. But you're bringing a sense of self and emotion and awareness of who you are and where you are right now. That's presence.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing that into the contact.
It feels good. And I think a lot of guys are afraid to do that because they're afraid the other guy's going to go into what? Advice giving. Well, in my experience, I think you should. Blah, blah. And you just want to feel heard.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this happens a lot with relationships where it's a listen moment versus fix it moment. You know, like, let's go with the listen moment first, and then maybe we'll be there for some advice if we ask for it or whatever. Oftentimes you just want to feel heard and like and respond with like silence or like, yeah, I see you, or like, yeah, it must be hard or whatever, or that's great. And then just let it sit for a second rather than like going into your 10-point plan of how you know how to fix your buddy. I think there's a fear of judgment or something, or like, I'm not perfect, or because men, we're kind of like always sizing each other up and how we doing, and our egos getting way back to our heads. And like, it puts us in that too vulnerable spot. Am I going to be judged? Blah, blah, blah. But if it's someone who knows you and has earned that inner world, it feels good because you know they're not going to come in there and pick you apart. Or you might be open to advice because you know they have your best interest. And you can trust them.
You can just sit there and say, I just want to be in this moment with you. I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to say, I'm so sorry, or this or that, if this and that. How can I fix it? No. I hear you. And I'm with you.
Yeah. How rare is that these days?
Exactly. And it's something I actually, and once again, came across more recently through a book I was reading, Super Communicators. I can't remember where they got it from, but a bunch of teachers were asking their students, do you want to be heard? Do you want to be helped? Or do you want to be hugged? Simple.
I like that.
Simple.
What if you want all three?
Yeah. And you can say, well, actually, I want all three in a certain order. I want to be hugged right now. Then I want to be heard, and then I want to be helped.
I like
Beautiful.
That. Super Communicators. That's the book.
And it breaks that logical cycle, especially men have, of I need to fix. I just need to help. And when somebody just wants to be heard. And it gives power to that other person to make a choice of how they want to create a container with you.
There you go. I like it.
Instead of control.
On both ends. Yeah. Then there's a power struggle perhaps, or whatever.
No, I think it's healthy in a way to say help, heard, hug. That creates a place for both people to come in. Almost as equals.
Yeah, we're not touched a whole lot as men. You know, I think all of our mentors, Connor, Traver, Dewey, have talked about with attachment theory about how boys after a certain age just stop getting picked up, touched, hugged when they're in distress. And girls, it's like it just goes on. It's like, oh my gosh, you okay? Boys, it's like, well, rub some dirt in it or whatever. And they stop getting touched, which is not that great. Not great for attachment. So bringing the hug back is good. Like a good bro hug is good. All these retreats we go to, they fucking start with a fucking bro hug. It's great.
Yeah.
It's a little jarring at first, but then you're like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like,
yeah.
Where's this been?
Bear hugs. That's my thing.
Bear hugs?
Even that guy, Dave Boyd, he says, I want one of those Phil bear hugs. He's told me.
That's funny. And you're like, hugging Dave Boyd is like hugging a small gorilla.
It is a small gorilla hug.
He is a large human. He's part of Man Uncivilized for those of you that don't know. Yeah.
Great man.
Part of the crew. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had him on your podcast. So I hope
yeah. We had a very interesting conversation about owning identity and having a bit of own sovereignty in a way. Yeah. Which is actually another principle too I have, or tenet.
Should we move into that one, or is that one not?
No, we can definitely
number 2, or is this number 7? Or
this is, for me, like it's a little down further in the list, but the order's not all that in particular.
It's not linear.
No, because it's actually living all these things as much as possible, but more reminders too.
So what's this one called?
So this one is protect sovereignty with boundaries. So, you are responsible once again. When we were talking about emotions, your thoughts, feelings, choices in life, you're responsible for that. And that responsibility also means setting what you need to have as boundaries with them too. And to say, I know, like, I need to get to the gym, otherwise I am just a mess.
So boundaries with yourself even. Yeah. That's arguably more important in some ways.
There is another part too. I talk about routines and rituals, but they do blend a little bit in that way on purpose. But being able to say yes and no too to things. So you get to the gym and somebody says, yeah, we're going to go for drinks afterwards. Kind of a weird thing after the gym, but it's happened.
Let's go wreck our workout.
Some people have instant gratification while at the gym where they have a drink on the treadmill. But really, it's to say, I went to the gym because I want to better my body and I'm focused on my physical health at this moment or for this part. No, I am not going to go grab drinks. I can go out with you guys. That's cool. But I'm protecting my choices, my life, my body, and having a bit of my own sovereignty rather than blending into something that I know just won't serve what I need to have it. There is a difference between responsibilities and sovereignty. But sovereignty is to say, I make my choices from my own heart and I don't allow basically outsourcing my moral compass.
To society, to other people.
Yes.
Is this sort of like being self-led?
Yes, it's exactly being self-led. So, because there is definitely a part, and another thing too, is you do have responsibilities in life that you can't just say no. But this bigger part where sovereignty that we see, especially in today's society, is there's so much outsourcing of our own thoughts, morals, and values that we're saying, well, I don't know where I align. Well, if I just follow this path because everybody's outlining it for them, okay, I'll just fold into that and whatever they say goes.
Yeah, it's nice and easy, but that's fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Fucking lemmings walking off the cliff at some point.
So it's important that we keep a sense of self, our own grounding, and we develop those boundaries to say, maybe I'm going to start, just not looking at news ever again.
Pro tip. Yeah, it's not news anymore anyways.
Yeah. Or I'm just going to put it in a places where, I know in that container, if I'm going to read this, I need to always ask myself, is this true to me?
I like that. Yeah, we don't often ask that, do we?
Yeah, no. And that's sovereignty. Is this true to who I align with? Does it change a little bit of my own thinking, maybe of how I heard one piece? And of course, there's always contradicting pieces out there.
Always.
News, of course. But what's true that I know for me? Not because of what culture, society, culture's different. Society, religion, or all these other institutions are trying to teach me or tell me. What do I know from my own lived human experience?
There you go. Your direct lived experience. Yeah. Yeah, that's big. It doesn't mean you reject all these things, but you take them and you digest them. A lot of people aren't digesting. They're just like baby birds with their mouth open saying, feed me, feed me. And the mom's pre-digesting that food for you, and it's not even your fucking digested food. That's a little bit dangerous. But it's easy. We're inundated. There's so much. You're like, cool, just tell me what to think. It's too hard. And then off you go off the cliff. I think it could be dangerous. But doesn't mean you ignore everything. You have to take it in and digest it to find out. You kind of have to bounce ideas off yourself to see, does it align with who I am? Well, first of all, you have to find out who the fuck you are. That's a lifelong process. But
yes,
that's the dichotomy, though, right there. There's the external thing. Does this align? How does this resonate inside of me? And you kind of like struggle with that. I think it's the struggle that's hard but good. Like we were at the Man and Civilized retreat, and during the end, Michael was saying, let what you've learned, all this pain or that's come up, or all this goodness that's come up, like work you. Like let it work you. I was like, I really like that. Don't chase it away. Like let it work you. It's meant to not feel awesome. What is it trying to teach you? I think that's it. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
Oh, no, it is. And actually, the one tenet before sovereignty is actually living congruent truth. A big piece of that is your inner world. What's congruent? That's a harder one to get to, like you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
To the unconscious, what's underneath, what maybe something wounded in us is causing us to think in a certain way, or that we were taught.
Often, yes.
So it's waking up to that. And as you're stating, and Michael, is we have to let that work us to say, okay, we need to understand it, see it, and ask ourselves, even if this within us, our own values, our own inner reality, is this even true to me, to who I know, my soul, my purpose, and who I am? Is this actually true to me?
That's one of the things I really liked about when we went through the Art of Instinct Intuition Jedi training with Dewey and Kimberly, is listening to your instinct and intuition. Like, what is even that? We spent the first day talking about that, developing that within yourself. I think without that, how are we supposed to even check in with ourselves? Like, we have to start learning and developing what that is. Because if we're in the logos up in the head, it's not really intuition often. It's just ideas, it's concepts, it's postulations. Like they're helpful, but that's just like the tip of the iceberg.
And one common thing I keep hearing a lot is, well, I don't know what my purpose or my values or this or that is. Well, you only have one then. Go find them.
Your purpose is to find your purpose.
That's it.
That's a good starting point.
So you actually do have one.
You do. Yeah. The quintessential spiritual question is like, who am I? Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, let me dig into that one.
And like you were saying earlier, test it.
You have to. It's not an overnight thing. You have to test. Yeah.
And they will change.
And it will change. You have phases of life, all that stuff. Yeah.
And the more elixir we get in life, the more things that happen in our lives to add to all of that vessel within us. But we still have to keep heating it and moving it and mixing it. And that is taken directly out of Francis Weller. What he talks about of finding a bit of the soul and going through some of the grief work and some of the things that happen in our lives to say, we need to take all this material. It actually gives us material. When we go through hard times, it actually gives us stuff to help align our soul, help align us. Soul, spirit, however you want to take that, but just in that level.
Yeah, it's sort of like a meaning of life, truth. Like in Buddhism, the first noble truth of life involves suffering. So you always get a chance. You always get a chance to learn. Like, don't worry.
Yeah.
You have something to work with. I think it's like a training ground. That's one of my personal, perhaps, beliefs is the whole idea of reincarnation. Like, how are we supposed to do this in one lifetime? Jesus, like, there's so much to learn. Like, and whatever, all spiritual traditions talk about a version of this, learning.
Yes.
Why are we here? What are we doing? This is part of it.
And a version of infinite too.
Yeah. Until you go to heaven, nirvana, whatever, and your time is over, whatever your belief system is.
Yeah.
You'll get a chance, don't worry.
Yeah. So, and I love this other phrase I heard from Francis Weller from one of his mentors is he would point to a rock and say, your soul is on this time frame. Biological time. Not that. And then he's like, it hates this, and he points to a clock.
Yeah. Antithesis. Yeah.
Yeah. So give yourself a little grace.
Say it again?
Give yourself time and grace to make the change and metamorphose.
Yeah.
Just like rock.
Yeah, you're in a chrysalis, a cocoon from time to time. Yeah, time's just a fucking concept anyways that we made up. It doesn't technically exist, right? It's a concept. That's a whole
gives us some understanding of what we're existing in, but we're trying to apply that scientific level of things. And it's not good or bad. It's either inherently evil or good. It's just
helps us function in daily life.
Gives us a little bit of the boundary.
Yeah. And if you want to argue that time's not a concept, just go ask someone about how their daylight savings time change was and how they got up that day and felt.
Yeah, exactly.
We decide that an hour has just changed. We went back in time and forward in time. Concept. What's that saying? Time exists, but just on the wrist.
I like that. I haven't heard that before.
I think it's from one of my favorite bands, Travis. They're Scottish. I think that's one of their bands. It's a good one.
That's right. You like those weird bands.
Oh yeah, anything out of the UK. Yeah, I'm fucking English. I'm English with an American accent. So that do we touch on a third one there? What was that one?
Yeah, so we touched. Those were three of them. So we have bring presence with contact, living congruent truth, and protect sovereignty with boundaries. And that actually is in that order right now that I have them in.
Okay.
Yep.
So we were just talking about the congruency one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So one of the next ones, drawing courage from integrity.
From living in an integrated life?
Yes. So really, when you stand for what's right, and once again, what's true in you and what you need to have for your own sovereignty and bringing presence, it does kind of build.
They all tie in.
Yep. You'll have integrity because you'll have a basis and a foundation. You'll have a certain ground to stand upon. The values, the morals, all that. You stand from that. Don't waver. And you draw courage from that because you'll be in congruence with yourself.
Courage comes from living those out.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be times where things will scare the crap out of you to stand for.
I get it. So what you stand for is there and you're acting it out and you might be a little bit afraid of doing it, but when you do it, you get the courage afterwards. Or you
I mean, courage is that. It's basically facing, everybody has the fear of being wrong or of standing up for something, even something small, or standing up for yourself, standing up against family or a certain friend in disagreements. But that's your own integrity.
Gotcha.
And courage is that ability that you get to draw from that level of integrity because you know what aligns to you and what is true to you, you can stand against the things that you do fear. And that itself is courage.
Gotcha. So it's courage building.
Yeah, you'll feel fear. That's just a normal human condition when going through life, even small little things to very big changes to big things.
Mm-hmm.
We all feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But will you take action of what's aligned to you, what's true to you?
And that's the courage bit.
And
Taking
that's
action.
courage.
I don't know if it's the same, but it reminds me of like, I think Connor's talked about this, but it rings true for me. I just want to be someone I'm proud of. And when I do things that I said I was going to do, I feel proud of myself. And it feels fucking good. But it's scary sometimes, often. But then if I don't, I beat myself up. And that's a whole nother rabbit hole of suck.
Yeah.
You know, the self-flagellation that we all go through.
Well, that's why putting in healthy boundaries mixed with your values and morals.
Like a boundary, not to go too far with the self-flagellation.
It's just like training. And as you know, training in the Coast Guard, you fall back to your training.
Or jiu-jitsu.
Policy or what might be this or that. So you're writing yourself your own code when you put in your values, your boundaries.
Gotcha.
Rules of engagement.
Ah, there you go. Internal rules of engagement. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that one. That's good. This is why it's good to have a personal code, right? Like, if you have it and you just try to live it out, you probably feel better and you'll probably be proud of yourself.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you don't have to have a ton. Even these things that I'm giving, these tenets, aren't actually personal code, but to help form your personal code.
Okay. So you can take them and morph them as you will.
Yeah. This is for you to take and morph it as you need it to.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah. Keep it simple. Keep it a few. Don't try to go crazy with your own code. It's hard.
Makes sense. It's hard.
Overlap.
Yeah. And I like you said subject to change because that's true. Different phases of life, you may want to alter them a little bit. Maybe that's why all these religions have like the 10 commandments or the noble truths or whatever. There's like those are codes in a way.
Yeah.
Things to fall back on.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, we got 4 now?
Yep.
Right.
So, continuing on with a bit of the military.
Military today. I like it.
Right? Yeah. We got our rules of engagement and code of conduct. Yeah, we got all that. No. But one big thing too is discipline. And so the next one I have, let discipline forge ritual.
Ah.
Yeah, this one is a bit of a play. And I like it in a sense of, because we're like, wait, ritual. Well, discipline, having that to say, okay, every morning I wake up, I brush my teeth, I go do some stretch for 5 minutes, and then make myself breakfast, and I go to the gym. And I do that every single day.
This is yours you're talking about? Or just an idea?
It was just an example. But yeah, actually mine's not too far. It's literally get up, put in my contacts, go take the dog out, feed her, take my supplements, and then 5 minutes of stretch, and then go hit the gym. Or movement.
Yeah,
20 minutes minimum every day.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I go to the gym for an hour and a half, for about 4 to 5 days a week right now, or the other days, I have to have at least 20 minutes of movement. So go for a hike, go for a run, all that. That is my foundation. And that's because of discipline.
Yeah, building discipline. Yeah.
But it actually becomes more of a ritual.
Mm-hmm.
When you wake up,
mm-hmm.
when you start repeating that choice, it's now a ritual to say, this is how I start my day. I put my contacts in, I do this, I do that. And then now my self wakes up to say, okay, time for movement, time for this. It's a ritual. It's a crop for me to say, this is how I build out to where I want to become a bit more. And it's almost, in a way, a small initiation. Morning.
I like that. Yeah, James Clear talks about atomic habits. So like you're casting a vote for the person you want to be by doing those actions every day. And then once you have a routine going, your resistance drops because like, oh, that's just what we're doing. It's a new habit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of my last guests on my podcast talked about the importance of routine and discipline. And he'd say, actually, it was Mr. Rogers would come into the door at the beginning of every episode, take off his outside clothes,
right,
on his inside shoes and clothes and jacket and sweater and all that. And then he's here for you. Once again, he initiated the process of coming in and bringing in that presence of being here in the house. And it is literally a ritual to say, okay, now I'm here inside. However, I need to interact with my kids, with my wife.
Mr. Rogers is probably enlightened.
He most definitely is.
I underestimated that show when I was a kid. I liked it, but I don't remember. I was like,
I mean, we may not understand to this level, like you and I do, seeing it and studying and analyzing like Mr. Rogers and how he begins the show now. But as children, we saw that pattern happening, and we could see the shifts in emotion. We can see the shifts in being. And that is more.
Yeah.
And that can even be a part of this too. How do you show up for your kids? Do you have a certain initiation or ritual or discipline that gets you into the mode to say, I am done with work. I am now here to play with my kids. Even if it's just like, okay, I'm taking off my outside shoes, putting my inside shoes on. And I reinforce this because we love a physical thing to happen for us to actually change some of our own mindsets. A physical thing. Taking off shoes, putting on another.
It's like a cue.
Yeah, our mind loves props and interaction.
I'm going to start to develop that. I mean, I have my own transition routine back from work because I've been humaning all day in weird places with people, like good and bad, dark places, good places. I have to drive home really slow. I usually listen to podcasts, but I put music on always on the way home. And then when I roll into the garage, I sit there for a second and I just kind of take a moment and just say like release, like let go of, I'm transitioning from that world to this world. And my wife knows not to come at me with all the stuff she's done in the day because I've been humaning all day. She's like, just give me half hour to like change my clothes, put my inside clothes on, go out, check the mail. And then once all the duties are done, then tell me how your day was, or look, do you need help? And the kids want to use me as the toys, we'll play or whatever. That's the ultimate goal, is to keep that consistent. Some days I come home and I'm like irritable or not feeling that great. So having a ritual would be good that you stick to. And that's good for the listener to know, is like, this doesn't have to be 100% perfect. It's not going to be. But if you have like a North Star you always come back to, then that's good. Why we need codes. But I want to think on that, like having I have a good transition routine, but one that's has a little more depth and consciousness to it, like that, like with something physical, that's good. You think you're right. I think we do need that. Otherwise it's just in the head, like it's a concept. Well, I think I'll do that, but then we don't always do it. But if there's like a cue, like, no, I do A, B, and C, then it reminds us to do the internal A, B, and C when we get home. So I think you're onto something there.
Yeah, and I think what you have, that ritual is beautiful, is absolutely correct. A lot of us, we just come right into the door, or we don't even have a door. We have an office, work remote.
Dude, that's
and
the worst.
We don't even transition.
No, dangerous.
So everything blends together. Well, it's not terrible to be congruent in some ways, But a lot of things need a certain change in mindset too. Because especially in today's work, a lot of us are much more logical thinking based work, which makes sense. We have to. But making an actual transition, something to say, okay, I'm here now for my kids and I need to bring a certain different presence. I don't need to bring a very hard and strong, a strong presence against them like I might need to at work for some certain things.
Work mode, yeah.
Yeah. So I need to bring maybe a bit more softness,
Mm-hmm.
a bit more play, a bit more fun.
Yeah, and I think it's especially important for the work from home folk. I think this is even more key because it's so easy just to open the office door and like, you're there. Turn off your fucking computer and maybe sit and meditate for 10 minutes, like make it conscious and then go out. But if I just think the work from home thing it's great in some level, but awful on another sense. Like, and having a 2-hour commute or whatever is equally as stupid. But if you have a decent commute where it's not terrible, you can use that time to like wind down and have it as a ritual. But yeah, the work from home thing can be not good for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it can work if you develop a certain ritual.
Exactly.
No, I mean, not everything's going to be perfect. Some mornings you are going to be running out the door. Some days you're going to skip right over brushing your teeth or whatever it might be. Or, hey, I have to run right home, grab the kids and run right back out. I might not have a half hour to decompress.
Sure. Life be life.
Some parts there, I mean, that just give yourself a little bit of grace too. So yeah, I'll be back at it tomorrow. Just don't let it slide. I believe in atomic habits.
Don't miss 2 days.
Yep, that's it. Yep, that was it.
You miss 1 day, but once you're forming a new habit once you have 2 days.
Yeah.
I think that's fascinating.
Yeah. But we still need to have the grace to say it's okay if we do.
For sure. Yeah. It's the human condition.
Yeah. So, yeah. Moving into the next one, speaking of walking into things and all that, another tenant that I created that was talking about walk a path with vision. So this one you might hear in many different realms. Walk a path where no one else has walked, etc. Create your own path. And, walk a path with vision. It sounds weird because it sounds like we might be walking somebody else's or one that's already created. It's not true. You create your own in a way. When you create a vision of where you want your life to go, a path will unfold.
Mm-hmm.
It may not always be seen. There might be a thick layer of fog. There might be dense forest you have to walk through.
Likely.
Thorns that will scratch you as you go through. But at least if you can keep a direction and a sense of yourself as you go through and allow things that you see as part of your vision to be your guidelines, then you will have no issue making this path.
So you're probably doing that with your clients, is helping them develop their vision. What does that look like?
Yeah. It is definitely a part, I believe, of coaching and things that I do with vision is to say, like, you can use the simple process of where do you see yourself in 10 years? But I usually don't go from that realm unless there's really a need for that level. I say, what do you truly see in yourself of if you were to say, when I am healed, when I am aligned with all these other parts within me, what do I become? And who do I want to become as a part of that? And literally visualize a scene. It may, and for some clients, it pops up as a physical place, physical location. There's a certain sense of themselves that they go through and walk through to say, okay, what is that person's values and morals that you may see? how does that person live in congruent truth? How do they show integrity? What are their routines? So we start to build a lot of this components, and it actually gives them a lot of the answers to the other things that we.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like when you're doing this, you're asking the questions and building the first 4 that we just talked about in a way.
Yeah. And it's not always money. It's not usually it's good to have financial stability, but it's not to say I have 20 cars and 20 this and all that. It's when we really look into who we are, we just find what's joy to us, and it's not always materialistic. And that's not the places we should be always walking towards. We should be walking towards more of what would a person who could be anywhere in the world and experience joy, what is their breakdown of them? What routines do they have? What values? What truths? What level of healing and process have they gone through of processing all the things that are inside and digging up that unconsciousness?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even the material things can be trailheads, like, because it's not about what it's about. Like, I want a big house and 2 cars. Like, well, why? Well, because I want to feel financially secure. Okay, security is a value.
Yes.
But why do you want to have the Porsche? So it can be seen. Oh, you want to be seen. So it's like, it's not about what it's about, but it's a good trailhead. Those are fine things to have, but yeah, they're topical. And if you stay topical, you're probably going to be unhappy. If you don't go within, you get the 5 Porsches, you're going to have like a couple weeks of like awesome. And then you're like, well, now what?
Exactly. And that's why I was struggling a little bit at the entrance of this, is that I was like, I don't want to talk about material, but there is a little bit of understanding, exactly as you were stating. It's, well, why? Why do you have this giant house? Because I want to have all my family with me.
There we go. Yeah. Now we're getting
that's more beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I want them to have space and fun and joy. And it's not always found with a big house.
It's true.
Actually, what can be seen with a big house is you may never see them.
Dude, it's so true. When I was growing up, I grew up in Lake Oswego, which is a pretty wealthy area. And my dad had a house in Dunthorpe, which is like, my neighbor was Danny Glover, Art Elisakis, Blazers, like huge house. And they decided to build their house, and they had to downsize to like a 1,500 square foot house. And although that's a small house, which is pretty sad. So in the big house, yeah, we could all just retreat to this space and not really see each other. In the small house, for that like 9 months or where it was, we're the closest we ever were. And it was still other problems going on with my life at that point. But like everyone was talking to each other, forced to be like right there. And like once the new house was built, it went right back to like the distance. So there is something to be said for that. It doesn't have to be a 7-bedroom house. Like you might be happier in like a 1,500 square foot house. It's ironic. Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah. It just made me think about that. Maybe I need to downsize. I had too much shit. Maybe I had too much. I like things. It's another problem.
No, you have a beautiful house.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful family and all that. And you guys do have that closeness, which is, I think, just appropriate.
Yeah. It's not too big of a house where we can just hide. I can't hide out. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
I'd have to shut some doors, but yeah, it does help. And that whole hedonic adaptation thing is real. Like I was contemplating like the other day, it was just a moment, you get moments of like gratitude that just smack you in the face and you're like, thank God. It was like, it'd been raining for a long time and then the sun was out, the sun was setting and it was like, man, I have a great fucking view and this house is amazing. And like the last week I was just saying, oh, I got to do all these improvements and like, that's not that great. And like, I started to like not like the house. And I just sat here and I'm like, how fucking lucky am I? This is it's every house has things you got to do on it, but like, I'm pretty fucking lucky. I shouldn't be complaining. I was just like, yeah, this is awesome. I have a view of the fucking mountain right here. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is great. This is really, just take it in. Just take it in.
Beautifully stated too. And that's exactly it. It's, what is it actually that you want when you do go to the material side? If you find yourself really heavily going into material and even connecting even more to the big house theory and all that is, maybe you wanted rooms for your friends. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You want
That's cool. Yeah.
connection and community.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, I need a place for a retreat center.
Yeah.
Then it's worth it. I need that 10,000 square
You
foot.
need that 10,000 square feet.
That basement.
We also call that cults. No.
I've got really good Kool-Aid, man. It's spicy.
Like my white robes. No.
It's all lined up. We got big closets.
Oh. But that actually beautifully folds into the next tenet, which is forge relationships through real connection. And that is actually a very wide casted net. Because it's twofold. It's building that community, connecting with men, like we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm. It's important.
Friendships that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you wanted your friends closer like that, maybe it's that you're not quite building that full outside of the container that's already there and saying, actually, this is how I feel. So building that connection by bringing that presence and doing that, being able to forge this relationship a bit deeper with your friends.
Yeah. I imagine quality over quantity, or does it matter? What do you think?
I'd say, yeah, quality for sure.
And maybe it's dependent on if you're more extroverted or introverted, but
the science is out.
Yeah.
And highly dependent on friends types and
proximity. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
And you can definitely have the different groups. Yeah, this is my going out group. We talk sports, we talk this, and we like to go to our favorite brewery every Friday. There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, that's great. It's one form of community and connection. But you may be also seeking more deeper to say, I need a friend I can just talk to, open up, and rely on.
Get real with.
That's a little bit rare.
It sadly is, but I think we're craving it as men, and I think it's there. If we just risk opening up a little bit, it's like, oh, me too.
Yeah.
Reading Connor Beaton's book, I think he was talking about being really nervous about telling his friend that he was not doing well, and his friend's like, oh yeah, me too, and it was like, boom, walls down, instant conversations of depth, and like off they went.
I still find it tough.
Yeah, for sure.
But
for all the reasons we talked about, for judgments and everything, but
yeah,
it just feels really good. And that's why it's good to do like men's groups, or like Connor has the Alliance, Traver has the Uncivilized Nation. Like, go, even if it's on Zoom, fuck it. Just that counts. If you have to do it online, do it. In person's better, I think, but whatever. And then having close friends near you can go hang out with, where you can just talk like we're talking.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's the other part of this too, is how do you have the relationships with your loved ones?
Right. Yeah, that's another layer. Yeah.
It's actually not crazy far off. But also, how do we connect with them and show a bit of own honesty of where we're at, and curiosity, a bit of vulnerability? It's all part of that same level. So we have the friends, but we also have other connection too, with maybe with our wife or girlfriend. We talk about things that we wouldn't, like, hey, I really am feeling this level of, I'm losing the words, but we could probably talk a little bit more into sexual exploration.
Yeah.
That's always a taboo topic.
Shouldn't be, but is, yeah.
Yeah. And it's really just talking more about the depths of it and honesty. It doesn't mean just because you're feeling something, you have to do it. It's just maybe there's something else there too, like behind having that fancy car or that big house.
Exactly.
Maybe there's a different meaning
Mhm.
that you need to dig a little bit deeper into behind it. Well, I'm a little shy of saying this, or I really just want to just have this level of sexual exploration here with you. And maybe it's just trying a different position, or maybe it's trying different things and going out for a different type of date even.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Just,
Yeah.
hey,
Let's go to a different restaurant.
yeah, let's go to a different restaurant. But even that seems to be tough of a conversation now.
Yeah, you get in your routines and like you're stressed and you just want to like, okay, we're doing this thing, but then you get stale.
I think you just broke open a whole nother spot of that too is, this is the person that you're with 24/7, your partner. This is going to be a different kind of conversation than you would with a friend that you meet once a week or however much less frequency.
Yeah, good
This is a
point.
person that you're spending hours upon hours upon hours with,
Mhm.
not just several hours, once a month, once a week.
Yep.
So have that conversation, make that connection. You can't hide that. And that's living in your truth too and being congruent. It's all a part of this. All these other things fall right into each other. All these things that I've been working on for these tenets, and things that, it seems like even the past and other places just inherently have known.
Yeah. So built into the cultural belief system or
So
layers. And what was that last one called again?
forge relationships through real connection.
Actually.
Yeah.
Whatever that means to you, real connection.
Yeah. Add
Authentic.
real to it. Because connection can be viewed and seen in many different ways. We might just think just sexual with our partner. And it's like, no, that's not connecting. It's a
It could be.
form of it.
It's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like contact, back to contact.
Yes. Yep. Probably not with friends. But
I mean, modern relationships. Sister wipes your back, man.
Yeah, this one really is, it is twofold between both having that community, but also having that real connection with the person that you are with or want to be with. And the more we can develop, even if you're single right now, the more we can develop a good, real connections and relationships with our friends, the more prepared you are going to be able to do that with anyone in your future.
Agreed. Yeah. That'll pave the way for that to happen.
Going to the next tenet,
Let's have it.
serve from responsibility. Yeah. This one I played around quite a bit with for a while because serving, there really isn't any true higher purpose than helping and supporting others. Whether it's making real contact, real connection, forging relationships. But we also serve in a way to say we're responsible for what our own impact is. How we serve everyone else in our life, our kids, our wife, girlfriend, friends. How do we perhaps create that little bit of opening too for them? That's serving. So,
It gets you out of self too.
yeah.
Gets out of yourself.
Yeah.
Thinking about your own machinations and all, what am I doing? Gets you out of that. Like a lot of advice in our world is like, you're depressed, go volunteer. Go work at a homeless shelter or whatever. You'll get out of yourself real quick and it'll feel pretty good.
Yeah. And that's what's incredible too, And that's also part of this is being able to serve something bigger than yourself or be able to provide something that nobody could ever pay you back for.
Ooh, that's a good one. And not expect a payment back.
So whether it is helping your community, which is definitely a part of it. So serving at a food bank, homeless shelter, whatever it may be, supporting, you have that responsibility for your own community as well. And yeah, absolutely. And serving your family and friends around you, not to compromise the other parts where you're giving all yourself up because you won't be able to serve.
Yeah, that's codependency and
Yes.
nice guy caretaking. Yeah, that if
Yeah.
you lose yourself, you've gone too far. Don't do that.
Yeah. And, as part of this tenets, there is a certain order, as I'll reinforce. Yeah, all the others come into play as well. You can't serve well if you are not in your truth. If you're not
Integrated.
congruent or present.
Mm-hmm.
So
If you don't have a vision.
Yeah.
Then you're relying on someone else's vision or telling your partner, give me my vision. What do you want? What's your vision? I'll just live it out. Codependency. Let's not do that one.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's from here that we really can make an impact. And also what I believe we've been missing a lot of is our own community, even our neighbors.
Oh, dude, yeah.
We're so individualized.
Yeah, do you know your neighbors? Do you talk to them? Do you hang out? Most people don't.
Yeah. So with these last couple tenets, talking about making connections, relationships, and serving, this is the basis of community. Something we more or less used to have.
We did. Yeah, modern living's crushed a lot of these things.
I mean, even just before COVID, this is actually something I was talking with a friend about, was the loss of even the happy hour.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah. People are doing it online and shit, and this sucks.
Yeah. Like after work, before all the remote work really flew into fruition with COVID, the happy hour was big. Just to hang out for an hour after work, decompress, change, created maybe a bit of a ritual too. Maybe not always the best of ones, but something
could go off the rails.
Transition too. But also it gave you a sense of a little bit of connection and a little bit of community. And I say a little bit because back then too, it wasn't always this deeper level, real connections, anything like that. But at least there was a little bit to say, oh man, the boss was such a jerk today, or man, that client just came in and steamrolled us, and it was like a way to vent,
process.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is needed. That's like I just envision like dudes coming back from the hunt and sitting around the fire and like talking about how it went, or do you see how I got that or whatever, or next time just processing all that stuff. It must have felt really good, or like we did it, or we failed. Let's process it. And then the family's around or whatever, you're talking with your kids. It's just like ready-made. We have got to find ways to bring that back. Obviously, we can't go back to the Stone Age unless we decide to nuke each other, and maybe we'll just be forced upon us. But there got to be, we can't regress. And I mean, that would regress us. Well, there have got to be ways to, we can't get rid of modern living, right? We're stuck with it, but how do we bring all these truths back and fit it in? I think that's where we're at in a way. We've got to figure that out, or else, I mean, we're the most depressed and anxious in the West, most depressed and anxious we've ever been. That's not normal. We wake up to stress every day, stressful alarm clocks, stressful notifications, emails, blah, blah. We're waking up to that, and our nervous system's like constantly in fight or flight all day. That's not good. It's lonely.
It is. I think, and yeah, we are waking up. There's a lot more presence of groups, men's groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Some I run, some that I'm part of myself.
Mm-hmm.
sake too. It's coming back slowly. There is definitely more and more change towards having more communal spaces again, too. Slowly, very slowly on that part. But it is interesting to see, especially Gen Z, moving away from things like video games and online presence and stuff. There's a lot of Gen Zers that just don't even have a presence, which is fascinating.
I would have never thought. Yeah, or they're going to the dumb phones and stuff. That's awesome, man. I got a guy, one of my men's groups is like, fuck these things. He has a dumb phone.
Yeah.
And it's a little hard. Like, I want to put in the WhatsApp chat, here's the podcast and book review. I have to email it because he doesn't have a fucking smartphone. But good on him for doing it.
And once again, create your container.
There we go. There we go. That's pretty smart.
Maybe a physical container it goes into.
Yeah. I have another guy who has that brick, right? Yep. You heard that thing?
Yeah.
It's working for him. Like, I'm glad it's not that bad for me, but like, we're paying for technology to keep technology away from us. It's kind of hilarious, but we got to do what we got to do.
Exactly. And the rise of, we see a big influx of people wanting to just be more aware of this too. Mm-hmm. So there's a desire and a need for that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Our psyche, our souls or whatever will force us into it because if we pay attention to what's going on inside, it doesn't feel good. Well, why? Let's start asking questions. And that's why. One of the reasons.
And that actually stems pretty nicely to the last tenet.
Look at us.
Yeah, look at that. This one is called Deepen the Soul.
Deepening the soul?
Deepen the soul.
Deepen the soul. Okay.
Yeah. It's like an action in a way. Yeah, not deepening. Which I guess kind of in a way is, but it's different.
Fucking grammar.
You're asking the wrong person for that too. So my dyslexia, my synchronicities and things that we...
Yeah. Synchronicities. Yeah. Making up new words.
Yeah, that was from a first episode that we recorded.
First one,
over a year ago, yeah.
You won't live that one down. Because I thought you added a whole new layer to synchronicity. Like, damn, this guy's onto something. What is a synchronicity? I want to know.
Yeah.
So deepen the soul. To deepen the soul.
Yeah, okay. Deepen the soul. And this really is all these things wrapped up, but also a different mystical component to it too.
Sounds mystical.
Yeah. And I wanted a little bit of that in it because life is a bit of a mystery. And when we go to deepen the soul, especially what we started off talking about of just all these things that happen, the grief, the darkness, this gives us material, but so does the joy and happiness. And this with this mix that we actually are able to create more of our soul into it and deepen it and adding some weight. I know I wouldn't be here today without the things that have happened in my life.
Flesh out what you mean by soul, because that's a charged word, right?
It is. And, soul is that mysterious component because there is something that we always feel within. Maybe it's the gut. Maybe it's the heart, some of us say. Maybe it's just something that we feel is like calling to us. It kind of adds this thing that we can't touch, this intangible component of our own being. But it has weight. We feel it. When we connect and touch something that is real to us, maybe we see something extraordinarily beautiful. There's almost a weight in that moment too. Like we see a beautiful imagery of scenery, and when we're on a hike, it just all of a sudden the tree line opens up and explodes into this landscape of mountains and a lake and forest. And there's just something that is a weight that happens there, a stillness. And that's a component to say, especially from all the things I've been through and the things in my life. I know I'm just talking now personally. when I see a new moment like that, there's almost more weight, more pull to just pause. Bring that presence to that moment and just gawk at the beauty that's there.
Yeah, it sounds very Jungian in his way of talking about the soul. People can look up the word numinous, but I don't want to derail the conversation. Google Jung's definition of numinous. You're getting at what that is. And again, Buddhism, it's witness consciousness. The part of you that just notices, that's aware. And that if you make space for that, you'll see and feel things on a more deeper level than just your logos, your logical mind. What do I think about this? You're not there. It just slams you in the face.
Yeah.
Or in the heart, I should say.
Yeah.
It's a hard one to conceptualize and talk about for a good reason. You almost can't talk about it sometimes because words fail because they're a concept. We're getting past concepts when we talk about the soul.
Yeah, I mean, the word soul is charged religiously.
That too.
Big time. And when people hear soul, they all of a sudden could be charged with a negative connotation, and that's not true.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just bringing yourself some depth.
Depth, yes.
And allowing life itself to permeate you. That is very Jungian, is the permeation of self. Letting things come into you too. So those are the things that allow weight and awareness and all these different things. It's also the times of grief and darkness and going to depths. But we sometimes try to plaster over or fill in that giant hole with cement, only for it to eventually just fall all into it and become a bigger hole.
Yeah, it weighs us down in a bad way. Yeah.
Instead of going down and exploring, what is this hole? And what is there?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of the darkness, and actually gaining the sight within the darkness to navigate through.
Yeah, you could talk about shadow work if you wanted to in the Jungian sense. It's one part of it.
Yeah.
The unconscious.
But another part I love that I heard, I believe, from Francis Weller, probably heard it from Jung and other parts too.
He's a Jungian, I believe. Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time. Is the things that we find. Now, this is the quote from Francis is, the unripened seeds of initiation are found within the darks and the depths of us.
Say that one more time.
The unripened seeds of initiation are usually found within the darkness or depths of us.
Is that some of the Travers, your greatest gifts grow in the garden of your wounds?
I'd say it's similar, but slightly different. I think, according to Traver, yes, there are parts of us that there are gifts, Pandora's box. There was hope left for all this darkness that was opened up. But when we go down and actually climb into this darkness, and I know Traver talks about this and not having an apartment down in the depths, but to actually climb down too, which I love. He's like, don't have a condo down there. Because it's true. You want to continue to move. We also want to explore a little bit in there and find these unripened seeds within us. I know when I had my journey down, it was a very dark.
Was this with your nephew?
This was the passing of my nephew, almost 2 years to the date of when we're recording this, actually.
Look at that.
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, as hard as that grief has been, my journey transformed 10x because I pushed myself so hard to find more depths. And this gave me a depth.
Yeah, life has a way of breaking us open sometimes if we choose to stay with it, which you did. You go places you didn't know you could go. It's scary.
Oh,
A lot of people like
that hole so bad.
Yeah, I bet. People want to numb out right quick. I've been there.
Yeah. And there were a couple times, I had to go to the surface.
Yeah, we don't want to stay down there forever. Come up for air for sure.
Yeah. But the beauty of being in the darkness, and I'm not trying to gloss anything over because it was hard and tragic.
That was hell for you.
It was. My brother, my family, to see them too, through all that, because we were all very connected. But it brought in a certain level of how I could connect with other men too on that level of loss.
Yeah. There's the gift.
It made me appreciate relationships and that connection. And it did deepen my soul. That's where a lot of this comes from, was this deepening. All these tenets came from it.
Pain can initiate.
Yeah. So I found some of my own seeds, brought them up with me as I slowly climbed in my own time. There was times I tried to force it and I would slip and fall.
I know. Typical guys, right? Let's force our way through this.
But I realized I couldn't quite, you can't move fast on slippery rock.
Yeah. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
There's a military connection.
Mm. That's a team guy's statement.
So that was my long climb out. But I found a lot of things within. Because I know I would have ignored a lot of my ability to connect, my ability to dive deeper into conversations, my ability to explore just more of my own passion and purpose in this life. And truly take the time to get the education and learn. And in doing so too, processing. Well, and learning the steps after slippery rock going up. Bringing these seeds with me.
Yeah. Sometimes we have to go down into Hades to find out what's lost down there and bring it back up with us. But it fucking sucks down there.
Yeah.
I guess it's supposed to.
Yeah. And it's for good reason. We have to feel that. We have to go explore, because there is an underworld-based king, Hades, for example, in Greek mythology. He wasn't some of the movie betrayed stuff that we think of, evil and this and that. The real story of Hades is that he accepted the assignment to become the god of the underworld because he knew he was best fit. Not because he was forced.
Or he wanted to fuck with people or whatever.
Yeah, or to fuck with people or be vengeful. He actually was quite... Though, of course, there are some of the components depending on which story you follow about Hades. But he also wasn't overt. He brought a lot of own meaning and depth when you went and visited him. But he also brought righteousness. Some of the stories of those who journeyed down into the underworld where Hades was and met Hades and his wife. I forget her name.
Was it Ophelia?
Yeah, I believe that's what it was. That's another story too. But it's been fascinating studying more and more of the Greek side. But in all, summing this up, you can have a conversation with him and be able to come back if you bring the right kind of conversation to him. Otherwise, you'll be trapped. I can't remember the full stories about how one that came down talked to him, but actually was allowed to return because he had the right to do so because of the conversation he had and the passage he had.
You can see the metaphor. Like, people stay in hell a lot, right? Because they don't ask the right questions, they don't ask any questions.
Yeah.
And they stay down there and it hurts that you burn. But also, if you ask the right question, you come up, you're burning away what you don't need anymore, what's not right for you. So it's a cleansing in a way. Or you can stay down there and burn and suffer, which, I mean, the choice is yours. We all have a taste of both, unfortunately.
And I apologize, I can't remember the story because there's a few different ones that involve Hades. But yeah, you have to have some of the right things, and love. Big one was love. Because I know his wife too had sympathy for one that had love. And so that's another component, is actually one of my values, is try to show love in all things.
That's hard. Shouldn't be, but yes. Well said. We should probably also talk about your Francis Weller experience you just had too.
Yeah.
Been going on about it for a little bit.
Speaking of a journey.
Yeah.
So back, the beginning of October, I went to the Minnesota Men's Conference, which is a 6-day retreat up in Minnesota. It was at a big old YMCA camp at Sturgeon Lake for this one. And this was actually started 40-something years ago by Robert Bly. So this was all Robert Bly's.
Iron John.
Yep. His big conference. Though it's more of a retreat. But this was started back then by him and continued on by those that have studied under him and continued through this tradition of connecting men. And it was fascinating. Was I probably would have never done this kind of retreat. When I looked at the description, there was like, well, you'll be doing storytelling and poems and song. I'm like, boy.
Drum circles.
It's like,
what was this hippie shit?
I barely been doing the guitar for a little bit over a year at the time. And it's like, I can't really make my way through a song. I'm terrible at poetry. I've been working on my storytelling or drawing. I haven't drawn since high school. So I was like, man, this is going to be interesting. But my friend who sent me a link, it just all worked out and was highly coincidental. Which I was like, okay.
Or was it a synchronicity?
It was a synchronicity that happened. So like, okay, I have to follow this. And I saw Francis Weller was going to be there. Only a few months earlier, I just got more introduced to him and learning more of his things. Like I was reading his books, In the Absence of Ordinary. And then also he had a 10-hour course that I listened to on another road trip I was doing. I was like, this is the man I need to follow for a little bit. Well, for my grief, because he is big into grief processing and ritual. And I was like, I need to go follow him. And even though this retreat sounds wild and wacky, but he was one of their special guests that was going to be there all 6 days. And he's been there before, but it was actually like a decade since
he's been.
Yeah. So it was the first time he was back. And to begin everything off, like we started off like a regular men's retreat initiation that you and I have done. And we all gathered, talked a little bit about working with men, making connections and all that. And it was around a big fire. There was a nice fireplace. Yeah. And, Minnesota fall was about 30s or 40s. So it was chilly, but not crazy. And it was beautiful. But yeah, just this big old fire going. And just, they were talking about that. Then they started part of a story. That some of these guys who study Jungian and study storytelling created themselves.
The retreat leaders?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the main ones. So they started a part of that. And it was a wacky story because it's not actually a story read like a fairy tale. It is read more like Iron John, in a sense that is a little bit more fragmented, a little less story connected, but more deeper meaning for each and every single line and word.
Yeah, a lot of metaphor.
Yes. So that was fascinating. And then we get to the next day and, I'll try to sum it up a little quicker, but next couple of days, they started sharing poems and they had a song group if you wanted to go sing somewhere. I was like, okay, this is a little weird. And also we had build groups. So we actually had to go build certain components. Francis Weller wanted to do some rituals. So we we dug down and built a giant berm. So it was like this 12-foot long by 6-foot wide oval. We dug down about 3 feet into the soil, built out this berm around it too. And it was where we were going to have this massive fire.
Mm.
Yeah. And then we created an archway out of some saplings and a small tunnel out of some other saplings and branches and things too. And I was like, this is interesting. This is weird.
Just like we're going back to when we were like 10.
Yeah. Right.
Fucking with shit in the backyard.
But that was what was crazy was more I got myself involved, the more I kept hearing other men being involved with it too, the more I started joining in.
Uh-huh.
I started all of a sudden writing poems. I was like, what? I've never written a poem besides, a couple times in high school or elementary. That was it.
You're forced to. Yeah.
But then I started writing it on my own. And I started creating a poem by like the second night.
The invitation was there.
It was just me doing it automatically.
Mm-hmm.
And started sketching in my book, which I haven't sketched anything since high school or even earlier. And it was just the more things wanted to unfold inside of me from this depth. If you want to talk about the archetypes, the lover, the playful, the joke, whatever version you want to go for, the trickster, yeah. It just wanted to come out. So, sorry, sidetracked, going back to building. We also built a sweat lodge.
Oh, shit.
That was really cool. Yeah, which I had the pleasure of being able to join one of the nights because, it is limited and there's 80 guys at this retreat.
It's quite big.
Big. And I was like, man, this is going to be massive to manage. They did an incredible job.
But
yeah,
that's a lot of people.
And nothing's better than staying in bunk beds where you brought your own sleeping bag and pillow because it's the YMCA bunk beds, like living in a dorm again because you had the shared bathrooms and all that. Yeah. But you're on a lake and it was really cool. It was actually really cool. But going back to the poems and going through that, so more story the next night. And I was like, I felt something was permeating me. So for the next couple nights, that's what it was we built some of these things. We worked on this. And then we also worked a bit on some things that we wanted to provide as gifts to the land. It was more of an element of respect that they were trying to teach. So we also had like kind of a crafts time.
I'm back to kindergarten. Here we go.
No, it was wild. But, also I wrote, for me, it was like, there was going to be a place where we provide gifts, and there was a place that we're also supposed to provide our grief and anything that represents it. So I wrote a bunch of letters for me. For me, it was writing out things. Some people found some things in the forest area and built something out of that, and whatever it represented it to them. And on the fourth night, that's when we decided that's when the ritual is going to occur. So we had this big platform that was also built as part of the building time and made out of wood and tree branches and other things, and had a container in it that we put all the stuff that we wanted to let go and all of our griefs as well. At least that was my intentions. Some other people may have had different intentions with it too, but it was what you needed to actually be burned and to be released. And it also talked a lot about world grief too, like loss of community, loss of culture that we've had, especially in modern society.
Especially this country.
Yeah. We really don't have much culture. We have more just of a society.
Yeah. Consumerism.
Yeah. So that was one of the parts too, was the loss of connection with just other good men and having a group. Some of the things I put in there too.
Mm-hmm.
And that represents
back to finding your soul. I think that's soul work right there.
Yeah, exactly.
One example of how to do that.
Yeah. So making it a little bit more brief, that night we carried that. We had song, and it was beautiful Lakota and Creek-based traditional songs.
No shit.
That one of the guys is actually fluent and studied in. Miguel Riviera, one of the leaders.
sounds familiar.
Beautiful voice. Beautiful. Yeah, you'll recognize him. He's one of the main leaders that leads it every year. And yeah, so we had this journey all the way to the fire pit, and they started the fire, this massive fire. Luckily, it's Minnesota. Everything was green. We're out in the middle of a dirt field, so those things weren't worries. It's not like Colorado where everything's just
fucking tinderbox. Yeah.
But yeah, so we carried this big thing that we built, this shrine that represented the grief, the loss, all that. And we took that and we went through one of the archways to enter the place, the big archway. And then they sang with the shrine, and then they put the shrine into the fire. And yeah, people had their own reactions that they needed to. I know for me, when I waited to see the notes start to burn, when the fire reached that, it was another piece that, for me, of things I had to let go. And I knew I fell to my knees and cried.
Great ritual.
Yeah. What was incredible was it lasted 4 hours.
The grief?
Yes.
You purged.
And multiple people were drumming for 4 hours, which was wild. They did not stop. And it's wild to see and hear, like, oh yeah, native tradition that, for 12 hours, these people would go into these trances and this and that.
But you can see why.
4 hours alone of just movement and drumming and all that was wild. So that was a piece of transformation. And at the end, when the fire started to die down a bit, after 4 hours of burning, it was a big fire. And everyone had time. We were to leave in silence and not talk to another soul, as if everything was dead. Yeah. Nobody existed around us, not even the world. The moon is gone. Went to our bunks in quiet. And then the next morning, we had a different ritual, a ritual of gratitude. Yeah, of life. And that was another thing. It's like, yeah, every morning we gave thanks to everything, but this morning was different. Spoke, hugged our brothers, live. Yeah. And we actually did a ritual with water. I won't say too much to it because I also want you guys to have a little bit of that mysteriousness. But another ritual based with that was very life-giving. And a lot of gifts were put back to where we burned the shrine, the things that we made to give. So, all that to say, this whole retreat was an incredible experience, because of the rituals and the things that we performed, because the things we were actually able to see, physically see, and do. But also the importance that came through with the play that we've forgotten, the poems, the lover side coming out a bit, things that we forgot that actually also help make a community too. Not just warrior, not just king, not just magician, but also the lover.
A lot of archetypes floating around in this retreat.
Yeah, big time. So to say, suffice that this was quite a journey and eye-opening. It really was. It was the longest one I've done, 6 days of all this storytelling, hearing stories, hearing how people disseminated these stories. And of course, we also had time where Francis Weller spoke about how to, stuff about his books, his grief, his process. A little bit of education too was a part of this too. So it was quite a great experience and journey to go through and to have my own parts in it, but also join in on larger rituals. So I encourage those listening, you feel like there's a ritual because they exist within us. They just felt like it was innate. And
It is.
to have that.
That's why it's archetypal.
Yeah. Go perform your own ritual or with your own friends. And if it is burning, be safe.
Fire.
It is why we all are drawn to fire too, I believe, like having the conversation and bringing those friends around the physical fire. But there is a certain ritual we can always perform too if we really feel the need. But it's not just fire. It's also could be done with water. It could be done with many things.
Yeah, lost art form.
Yeah.
Back to older cultures, this is what they did.
Yeah. So very beautiful journey, unique, very much in its own right. And a lot of elders that were leading it.
Another thing we're missing in society.
Yeah.
We're obsessed with being young and the youth.
Yeah.
Staying young, right?
Many people there too were in their 60s and 70s. Many men.
Oh, they had some good advice.
Yeah.
Some good experience.
So, yeah.
That's cool. That makes me want to do it now.
Yeah. And that's the other part I really enjoyed was they also do scholarships.
Oh, nice.
So they want you there. Like it's not that expensive for 6 days to go. I won't say the price because it might change a little bit next year depending on some of that, but it's actually really, really reasonable.
What's it called?
The Minnesota Men's Conference.
Okay.
They do a winter one, which is a shorter one, but their fall one's their big one.
Yeah, that sounds good. Man, went to a lot of places today. It's good.
Yeah.
And we're speaking mostly to men, but this includes women too, I'd imagine, on multiple levels. There are probably many women's retreats out there where they do something similar, I would imagine. I just don't know what they are. But yeah, for all the men listening, this is the work. This is what you can do. This is where you can go. And you can make a code and you can live by it. And what do you have, 6? What do we get through?
Oh, we got 9 tenets. Yeah.
Oh.
All 9. Yeah.
Got 9. So write them down, listen to them, integrate them as you will.
Create your own code from it.
Yeah. If people don't know how to do that and they want to hit you up and get guidance, where do they go?
Yeah. You can find my website at www.thegroundedwarrior.com. Make sure you have the in front of Grounded Warrior. You can check out the tenets. They'll be up there probably by the time we publish this. There should be a link that exists, but you can also just do /tenets. And I'll take you to that of what we talked about earlier today. You can check out my coaching page and we can look at group or one-on-one based things that are offered out there. And that's some good ways to reach me. I'm also on Instagram and I also have my own podcast called The Grounded Warrior that you can find on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, pretty much all the platforms.
I'll link them all. And your Instagram is the same?
Yep. All the same.
Cool. Good. That makes it easy. The Grounded Warrior.
Yeah.
The one.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Love it. All right. Well, we'll keep cooking on this. Of course, I know you're going to be back soon because that's just what's happening apparently.
Yeah.
See how you've evolved.
Yeah.
And I will see you up here in Oregon. That's classified. Never mind. Forget you just heard that. That's classified information. We'll see you here on our podcast.
Yes. Yeah.
The next time.
I always enjoy coming up and visiting you up in Oregon. So
yeah, I love it when you come up here. And yeah, check out your podcast because you got some cool guests.
Yeah, I also have you. It was a cool guest.
Oh yeah, I've been on there once, haven't I? I forgot about that.
We talked about finding a good therapist for men. So in a way,
I forgot about that.
That was a good one.
But yeah, check it out, man. Check it out.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, let's land the airplane. Until next time, everyone be well. Any closing thoughts?
No, just
Statements?
thank you so much for having me again. It's always a pleasure to come back on
Likewise.
and just speak with you and your audience. And, definitely get out there, guys, and find your own code. Find a
There you go.
sense of self.
Yes, let's do it. Till the next, we are out.
Thank you.